means. What gives that light to the senses? Mind. What gives light to the mind? Intellect. What gives light to the intellect? God, Brahman, the cosmic self. So, what is the light of lights? Jyotisham api tat jyoti. All these lights, senses, mind, intellect, but behind all that, light of lights, Brahman. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Brahmanandam Param Sukhadam Kevalam Gyan Murtim Dvandvatitam Gagan Sadrisham Tattvamasya Laksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Om. Adorations to Sadguru, who is Brahman, the giver of supreme bliss, embodiment of pure consciousness, one without a second, vast as the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, the supreme preceptor. Yoga Vasistha in Upasama Prakarana, section 35. Prahlada continues to practice vichar. Vichar is spiritual reflection. And in this context, Prahlada is presenting before you the ideal to be reached in order to be perfectly fulfilled. If you want all your purpose of life is fulfilled, then make a deal with your eye. And what should be the deal? That's what. How to handle the I within you. First you have to realize ego is not your real I. So you have to have great challenge to deal with your ego, which is not you. And yet you will shine only when ego subsides. So who is going to do it? But one way or the other, make the deal. That I will not be within me, it is you, the real I am. Now keeping that view, this is the ideal. The ideal is attained in a progressive manner. So, you day by day, you try to assimilate spiritual knowledge and grow in a spiritual way, day by day, until your illusory I, having beheld the real I am, bows down and vanishes. This shouldn't be shocking to you. Day by day your I doesn't bow down, it hides behind the pillow when you go to sleep. And the moment you wake up, it comes back and grips you. In the state of enlightenment, it bows down, disappears forever and for eternity. So Prahlada continues, my mind has become like the autumn sky, free of the dark rain clouds of egoistic vision, all allegorical, but Sharad Ritu in Indian background, after the rains have gone and autumn starts with clarity of the sky and full moon shines in an amazing way. That's called Shad Chandra, autumnal moon. And that's the allegorical picture. But what does it really mean? When the rain clouds of egoistic vision, that relates to the clouds of kleshas, ignorance, egoism, attachment, hatred, fear of death. When these continue, it's like a dark cloud. But not just the dark cloud that obstructs the sun. It rains down, torrential rains of all karmic process. Karma that leads your soul to experience three types of tapas: subjective, objective, act of God, and drives you from one birth to another. That karmic whole process is a torrential rain. But Prahlada says, my mind has now become clear. No more those torrential rain of kleshas. No more obscurity of the moon. Moon here is bliss of the self. My mind has become lit up with the moon of the self. To easy understanding, think of a lake. If your mind is like a lake and it has constant waves coming into it, then that mind doesn't clearly reflect the moon. That lake may reflect trees, and the reflections will be distorted. So when you look into the lake, you will be seeing sharks, crocodiles, snakes, and now and then good things, trees and flowers. But when the lake becomes calm, along with what you are seeing, you will begin to see the sky. Now it will depend upon your meditation, what is your level. You want to go and stay looking at the snakes and fishes, or you want to enjoy the glimpse of the sky. Same mind has now given a room for reflecting God's presence. Figure that out. All the time your mind was there. That's the lake. And all the time you are worries and anxieties and stress. Sattva comes in, but now and then you see along with all that, there is sky also. But somehow sky is not interesting. That's the early stage, Dalvita stage. But when you do sadhana, sky becomes gradually more interesting than all your mental worries and anxieties. And then you begin to wonder, the same mind that gave me all the trouble, now it's capturing something beyond imagination. It cannot be described. Mind has all the grammar and all the literature and all the international language, but it cannot describe the grandeur of the sky. And of course, as you further advance, all those reflections have no meaning. The sky alone is real. Having attained that revelation, you as if wake up and shake up your mind, intellect, ego, everything. When you wake up, you shake up your sheets. You wake up. When you wake up like this, you shake up your 5 sheets, 3 bodies, and realize, shine, I am Brahman, I am Brahma. Adorations to thee, O Atman. Now, all the time was adoring Lord Vishnu and so forth. And now, big discovery that all concept of God is nothing but the Atman, the self. So, adorations to thee, O Atman. The crocodiles of cravings have disappeared. That's what we're talking about, the crocodiles. And the lake of the mind abounds with bliss. Same lake. But now all the crocodiles have vanished, they are all reflections. And the mind is catching the reality of absolute. Brahman is reflecting in the mind. Adorations to thee again and again. Adorations to thee, who are like a lake wherein bliss blooms as lotuses. Giving another type of allegorical picture. Previously looked at the lake, and there were all so many fishes and frogs and whatever. But now, having seen the sky in the lake, your mind blossoms with lotuses. Now your mind brings out divine virtues. Those virtues are lotuses in the lake. And the waves of worries have subsided. The waves were keeping the lake so agitated, you couldn't see the sky in it. Thou art my innermost self. Adorations to thee again and again. So, you must realize, whom is he adoring? The I am. He's pointing to his own heart. But it is not the ego. He who abides in your heart and the heart of all, that he is you. So I am that. And that's the highest truth, the ultimate ideal that makes the deal strongly. All other deals will fail. But this ideal will never fail. Thou art the swan, sporting the lake of my heart. Now that lake that was described with thorns and fishes and then described as giving room to the sky and then described as lotuses making it beautiful. Now, more surprising, swan, soaring through the sky and comes to sport in the lake. And I am that swan. And swan has a pun behind it. Swan is hams. And hamsah, I am that, the Sanskrit words put together becomes hamsah, and which has double meaning. If you higher meaning, I am that. Popular meaning, swan. Sages made many tricks. Great ideals were identified with animals and birds. All the Upanishads identify with cows. And Krishna is the one who milks the cow. I will not go into that detail, but there are lots of that. Thy wings shine with the light of pure consciousness. Adorations to thee again and again. Ever effulgent. Sun is ever luminous. The light in the sun is not coming from any other source. Sun itself is luminous. That's allegorical simile. In the same way, the I am is the absolute sun, light of lights. All your awareness, whether it is mental, subconscious, unconscious, your entire range of awareness. Awareness is the one that is holding and illumining everything that you know or feel or do. That awareness is called light of light. Let me just remind you. The question is raised in the Upanishad and the answer is given by steps. First step, what is the light that enables you to experience the objects of the world? Senses. You may have all the physical light, etc., but for your eyes, you don't have eyes. So what lies, you don't know. So, senses are your torches. They are your, they illumine the objects of the world. But then, are they the illuminer? What illumines? What gives that light to the senses? Mind. What gives light to the mind? Intellect. What gives light to the intellect? God, Brahman, the cosmic self. So, what is the light of lights? Jyotisham api tad jyoti. All these lights, senses, mind, intellect, but behind all that, light of lights, Brahman. And that Brahman is the essential self, the essential identity of every individual. Ever effulgent, dispeller of the darkness of the heart. When the revelation comes, I am that, all the darkness and along with the darkness, all the dark creatures that stay in your heart. They are all creatures, see? Worries, anxieties, they have big heads, buffalo necks. They are foxes, jackals. All the creatures of darkness that are dispelled when the light is revealed. All pervading, Just like in your dream, your entire dream world is pervaded by your own self, your own consciousness. Pervading doesn't mean that the objects are real and something is inside it. The objects themselves are not real. The waves are pervaded by the ocean. The cinema show, all the pictures are pervaded by the screen. So that type of God pervading the whole world. Thou art like the sun, which though invisible, enlightens the mind and senses. Invisible implies, though beyond the senses, because things that are within the range of your senses, that's called visible. Broad way to understand. But Brahman is not in the range of senses. Therefore, invisible from practical point of view. But it is that Brahman who enlightens the mind and senses. Adorations to thee again and again. Thou art flame without oil. Every type of illumination in the world depends upon energy behind it. Old time illustration, lamps that needed oil. Modern times, electricity, but needs the battery charge. It needs electrical charge. But sun doesn't need any charge. I'm talking in an allegorical way. Brahman doesn't need any other light or any other source of energy. He is self-effulgent, illuminer of all, thou flame without oil, the awakener of supreme love. Another definition of Brahman, param prem, absolute love. Therefore, by realizing Brahman, the innate urge in every soul to love and be loved, that's innate urge in all birds, animals, humans, everywhere, always. And that is absolutely fulfilled when you attain enlightenment. Brahman is that source of to love and to be loved. Both become blended, integrated in Brahman. To thee who are the mystic lamp that burns in my heart, and that when you attain realization, that's your experience. The mystic lamp that burns in my heart. The awareness, aham brahmasmi, that cannot be shaken. You may appear to be shaken, your body will be shaken, your mind will be shaken. The world you live in is always shaking. But you are like the sky. You look at the sky, clouds, and everything goes on shaking before the sky. But one thing you don't see, the sky is not shaking. So just like the sky lives along with all the clouds and allows the people to look at the sky and have their own imaginations, what is happening to that cloud, why is all for. But the sky remains untouched. That's the description of jivanmukti. liberation. Which means the personality of a sage belongs to the world. In that personality you see clouds of changes and many things, depending upon how you want to see. But to the sage who is the sky, that sky neither smiles at them nor frowns at them, but very tenderly takes care of them. The whole party of clouds are going to come. The sky just opens. Come, all this field is meant for you. You don't have to pay any rent. Not a cent. It's quite evident. Just as a red-hot iron is beaten and molded into a desired shape, in the same manner, I have beaten the mind that was tainted by worldly desires with the hammer of spiritual inquiry, and have thus controlled and destroyed it. This refers to Vedantic practice. As you advance, you go on creating changes in your mind. And in order to bring change in your mind that was a kid type of a mind, now that mind has to change. It must get purified. From the state of distraction, it must come to a state of concentration. From a state of impurity, it should come to the state of purity. The mind goes on changing, but the change you allow in your mind by the practice of, by repeated practice of your sadhana. So sadhana is a constant beating. An inquiring movement is like fire. The jnana operates as function of fire. Fire and your sustained effort. Your insight is fire, your sustained effort is hammering. And then your mind goes into a mold. And mind is so flexible. Same mind that has created a framework of demoniac structure. Demoniac, allegorical things. Same mind that has created everything negative. Now allow that mind to go through the sadhana movement. A little fire, a little hammering. Now it's molded into, now we are totally different. The building has changed, the features have changed. We're looking at things in a different way. But this process culminates when the mind has come to the grip of meditating upon Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. And mind then attains the ideal mold. The type mind brings out, allows the revelation to occur. Aham Brahmasmi. That's your ideal. Another point to understand, that each time you are molding your mind, is a process of becoming, which becomes you. You have been an angry person, now becomes a quiet person. You have been a nasty person, you become shishty person. Shishty, gentle, gracious. From a wicked person, become a saintly person. Changes go on occurring. But attainment of enlightenment is not an act of becoming. You have not made a change in the metal, and now the metal is shine. Until then, the shine had not been there. But think of a metal that was already shining, and there is dust over it. All that you do, you move the dust, and that you are not making the metal shine. Metal is shining by itself. So as long as your ideal is on the basis of a change, it's called becoming. I have become better, better and better. But when you attain realization, the I am in you has not become better, it just shines. The real I am doesn't need to be better. A reflected sun can be subjected to different appearances. Change the water, clean the water where it is reflecting. The sun will go on getting better and better. But all that doesn't apply to the real sun. The sun is beyond all this movement. It's important to understand these 2 points. The process of becoming, that's in the realm of your karma and your self-effort. The process of being, that's revelation. So becomings are transcended. They play their role, they have their role, and they are fine. But the ultimate goal is not a result of certain action. It's a revelation of reality. By faith did I remove faithlessness. So, if you don't have faith, then a quick guidance is given. Come to the Guru, say, have faith. So faithlessness is removed by faith. By renunciation did I overcome craving. That point to understand, you have to understand the Gita that constantly talks about sakamya and nishkamya. All activities people do, but there is a desire behind it. You want to see the ego's expectation fulfilled. But if you are completely confined to that type of reality, you will be in absolute misery all the time. Because ego doesn't have that intelligence to have the highest expectation. Ego always wants fulfillment in the world of time, space, causation. And all that fulfillment that comes in this world of time, space, is dependent upon mental process. In other words, liberation is not in that stage. If you become liberated, You don't just stay in a certain residence by the ocean and for eternity. It will be a good thing for the masses. Oh, let's go to see the sage. He's 500 years old. Another will say, oh, but there is a sage 500,000 years old. They are immortal. They will never die. Some scriptures have given that type of illusion to the masses. Human mind needs all types of comfortable information. So there are some people who hold the idea there are yogis, chiranjeevis. They are still living. They were at Rama's time and they received the blessing of being chiranjeevi, so they cannot die. So they are always here, somewhere, hiding. By renunciation did I overcome craving. So by renouncing ego-based expectation, that renunciation called sannyasa. And by inquiry did I rid myself of ignorance. Inquiry is a subtle, introspective quest. You are as if you're looking for, where am I? Who am I? You're trying to understand. And that's not ordinary intellectual function. It is led by a divine pull. A deep interest develops at a certain stage of purity of your mind. That first to understand what I call me, meowing all the time. That's not me. So, let's get away from the me and all its meowing. In the realm of Maya. Me meowing is the realm of Maya. And let me find who am I. This Maya is fine, finished. No more meowing. So that movement, that's called jnana movement, that's where integral practice of yoga has led you to that state, where you can shake off, move away, and turn your gaze, angle of vision. Just like you were watching the lake, your vision was always after certain fish. But now move away from that and look at the sky reflected in the lake. The same lake is reflecting the sky also. So, finger point, as it were, to the real self. By doing so, Prahlada says, I did rid myself of ignorance. Having dispelled the doubts of the mind, and having torn the veil of ignorance, I have realized thee, O my innermost self. I have realized thee, O my inner self. It is a happy moment. The inner self doesn't mind. The self is as real to me now as the body was to me during the state of ignorance. Now, another simile is given to understand when we say, I've realized the self. What happens before you realize the self? It was very natural to you to feel I am the body. Nobody had to convince you this is you. It was quite easy, quite normal, quite spontaneous. If you have the same experience, I am the sky, I am unshaken, pure awareness, as spontaneously as you feel I am the body. And that's the definition of liberation. There is a quotation from Panchadashi or similar scripture. I will just recite for you. Dehatma jnana vajjanam, dehatma jnana badhakam. The meaning is, if you view I am the body, then that knowledge, I am the body, creates bondage. Dehatma jnana, I am nothing but the body, that's bondage. Atmanyeva bhavaidiyasya sa nechannapi muchyate. But now is the revelation. I am not the body. I am the self. Just like you viewed I am the body with spontaneity, now your experience with profound spontaneity, I am Brahman. Then even if you don't desire to be liberated, you will be liberated. It has a humorous meaning. When you realize you are Brahman, that in itself is liberation. Brahman doesn't need any liberation. I have realized thee, O my innermost self. I've been turning for God everywhere, up and down. And now I have realized thee, O innermost self. Only difficulty, how can I fold my hand? The self is as real to me now as the body was to me before the state of ignorance. My mind has become quiescent, like fire that has consumed all its fuel. Having crossed the ocean of the world process, having released myself of the fetters of desires and delusions, and having freed myself of all miseries, I have now become the surging ocean of bliss, from bhavasagara to anandasagara. You were in the bhavasagara means the salty ocean of misery, where every soul has to again and again go into another body and go on experiencing endless. From that is bhavasagara, that's unending illusion. From that I have become Amrit Sagar, the ocean of our Ananda Sagar, ocean of bliss. If you drown in the ocean of bliss, it is not bad. If you just swim, that's fine. So whichever way you are in the ocean of bliss, even if you are just on the waves, it's wonderful. If you dive into it, great. If you get lost in it, that's nothing wrong with it. So that state has come, that's liberation. Adorations to me, who am the self. So verses after verses go on, ending with adorations to me, adorations to me. In the next section, Prahlada brings out more clarification to whom he is adoring. Prahlada said, O beloved self, by great fortune you have appeared in the firmament of my recollection. Firmament of your heart carries reflections, things you have experienced before. But when you have attained enlightenment, all worldly recollections have no place in your heart. Your heart is completely free from all talks about the world, past, present, and future. Now, only recollection occurs, aham brahmasmi, I am Brahman. The term recollection is just revelation, realization. So what was the memory of the world was constantly a big burden upon you. That memory has become feathers. And more picturesquely, peacock feathers. The whole world has become the vibhuti of God, God's adornment. You who are like the moon in the cloudless sky, moon in this context means bliss, absolute bliss. My adorations to you. As long as you are not encountered, you assume the form of death. Now, another way of understanding is all allegorical. If you encounter God, as God's vision, darshan, you are in the ocean of nectar, the ocean of bliss. But if you don't, due to your ignorance, that same ocean is calling you by your ears, catching your ears. Same ananda, bliss, that inspires advancing souls. Same bliss is acting negatively towards those who are running away from bliss, those who are following the path of impurity, paths of ignorance. The same source that was lovingly calling you and giving you immense joy of love. Now move away from it, same will come with the fingers of Ravana and grab your neck and give you lots of torture. In other words, pain and misery has also purpose behind it. It's a divine pull that you have ignored, led by your karma. But you can't fool the pull. Pull continues until you wake up and learn that pain is to be removed. The whole philosophies begin to work upon it. What's pain? What's the cause of pain? Where does the pain go away and how can it go away? And that covers the entire range of religion and philosophy. So, who played the drama of pain and suffering? Brahman. out of great love. Can God be unloving for a moment? So as long as you are not encountered, you assume the form of death, destroying those who are opposed to devotion. But when you are adored and encountered, you fulfill all the desires of your devotees. I have beheld you as the essence of my very being. You have become eternally my very self. Bravo. And good news for all of you. With this we conclude.
Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti